Thank you. Thank you, everyone. First of all, really welcome to MERLION IT Summit. It's the first time we do something like that in Russia, and I think it's an interesting combination of different vendors. I think really cool and relevant stories that we heard from my colleagues. Second, it's fantastic that we have end customers as well, because this is what makes our business relevant, and then, of course, our partners. So today, I'm going to tell you about three things that I really personally find most relevant when it comes to partner business, when it comes to the IT industry, when it comes to how we serve our clients, but also how we make a sustainable future for ourselves. And these three things are the strategy of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, then the products and solutions we build to support strategy, to bring it, and then finally, partnering and how we make sure that doing business with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise actually makes a lot of good sense for you. All right. Not sure this works. More technology challenges. Can we move to the next one, please? Okay. So it's about predictions, right? So all technology companies, all vendors, we can move to the next slide. Yeah? All vendors will tell you a lot of predictions what's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or tomorrow. And actually, I work in the IT for, I believe, almost 30 years now. I've listened a lot of predictions, what's going to happen, and how extreme, how brave this new world is going to be. But guess what? I've also seen that these predictions did not really materialize fully. They did not necessarily materialize at the moment they have been predicted. And I can even tell you that in reality, the reason for that is that predicting is difficult. So with that in mind, I think there is an important aspect of the HP strategy that respects the fact, the prediction is only a guidance. It does not tell us how we become successful. It does not tell us how we make our clients successful. It just tells us what we need to keep in mind. Now, the strategy, as my colleagues have been telling, is really happening in the context of industry shift. And you have seen a lot of these things already in a different way, different format, with different wording. But what matters here is the following. When I reflected a little bit on predictions and how much world will be cloud-based, I really believe, and I have seen a lot of things supporting, let's say, the theory, supporting the view that the world is, but will continue as well to be hybrid. And by hybrid, of course, I mean this nice marriage, effective marriage between cloud and on-premises. I can tell you, when I speak to the customers, the most important thing that I discuss or that I kind of get from these conversations is not how much they are happy about technology itself, but really how happy they are with the effectiveness of that marriage, how well, how seamlessly, how nicely that works together. So that's one thing. The second thing, of course, the intelligent agent. My colleagues actually had even, I would say, more interesting examples than I would have. Hey, this one is real life, and it's happening at the airport on the opposite side of the city. So I was flying into Domodyedovo, and I was checking the website for some logistics. Now, what I have found out is that actually, as we speak, so very recently, Domodyedovo Airport has implemented an IoT pilot to sensor, collect the data, and then make some, let's say, intelligent decisions and conclusions about all their vehicles, starting with the passenger buses, the pulling things that pull the airplanes and everything. I couldn't have, of course, figured out what exactly they want to do with the data, but the moral of the story is that IoT is not happening in the US. IoT is not happening to someone else. IoT is actually happening here in the neighborhood. And you know what? What I liked very much is that Domodyedovo Airport starts with small. And that's the point. When you implement things with your customers, when you think about, how do we move forward, it doesn't have to be overly ambitious. On the opposite, I would say you need to start. That's what matters. And then you take it step by step. Then you simply grow the solution. You make it more complex. You make it more valuable. You make it contribute more to business KPIs of your customers. And then finally, services. So I have a lot of background in services, spent half of my career probably selling and delivering services, both consulting and support. And I can tell you, it's not unique to HPE to say that services are and will be more critical. And that's become, I think, pretty clear for two reasons. Yeah? Number one, if you want to have a good solution, good data center, or good SMB solution, you realistically need a professional service, what we would colloquially call consulting, to make sure that whatever you invest, deploy, whatever you do is really optimized for what it needs to achieve. So that's one thing. Second thing, when it comes to support of the existing solution. Now, in the past, when money was just flying like crazy, 2007, 8, 6, yeah? So there was this famous 3-year sales cycle, right? Technology refresh, everything. And now what we can see is that our customers are absolutely not in a position to do that. Neither is their business happy or even able to digest constant changes in every 3 years. And it's also a matter of question, what can we actually deliver with new technologies, new solutions being implemented? There was an article in Newsweek, I think probably a million years ago, when PCs were still very relevant. Yeah? And that article was actually a very good prediction because it said, I remember like it was yesterday. Yeah? This article said, hey, we moved all the typewriters and we introduced PCs. And we immediately increased the productivity. But then the question is, what do we do next? And really after that, we did introduce emails, you remember? So you haven't been receiving your, let's say, whatever communication by fax anymore. It started to come by email. And I think at this point, we are, I would say, in a situation that we need to understand how do we deploy services to make things relevant, to make things effective for the customer. Now, HP strategy, and I like it very much, is simple. Now, that's what I like with strategies. As an employee, of course, I need to execute that strategy. So if it's complicated, I tell you, I don't feel well. But this one is tremendously simple. Why? Because it says that, yes, there's going to be hybrid IT world, and the main thing that we want to do is just to make it simple. The second thing is that we want to power the intelligent edge, so we want to, let's say, fuel this IoT thing, both commercial and industrial. And then finally, if there is one company that has super long history with services of all kinds, and especially in Russia that has been very inclusive with the partners participating and delivering services, this is HPE. For all the reasons I have already explained. Of course, strategy comes to life, as I said, through solutions, through products, through some cool ideas that make sense to our customers, that you as partners feel happy and comfortable to implement, that you believe it makes sense to invest your time, money and effort to get good in understanding these solutions. And therefore, we have, I think, one slide before we go into few solutions I selected to discuss. Now, this is a slide that is actually related to customers. And I have seen a few similar things in the presentation of my colleagues earlier. Two things that I really want to emphasize. Number one, technology becoming a business strategy, business driver. The thing is that everyone, so every customer in the market, from a smallest child to the oldest person, has a smartphone, a tablet, a PC, you call it. Yeah? And these people actually expect whatever any business is delivering to be compatible, to be linked, to be elegantly working with their supercomputers in their pockets. So this is why technology suddenly becomes, as the same like digital, it suddenly becomes part of the strategy, part of the deliverable that businesses are bringing to their customers. And the second thing, also linked to that, I would say when I was a child, there was one virtue that I was taught is very important. It's called patience. Okay? So when I was patient, then my grandmother was not very happy, and also then I was not very happy. Okay? So it was very much appreciated. Now, today, it's the era of instant gratification. So everyone wants everything now. Everyone wants to have everything immediately, instantly, and without any delays. In reality, what happens in enterprises, what happens in small businesses even more, is the shadow IT. And then everyone says, yeah, but it's not really happening. And then I have few friends, developers as well. So I say, so this is not happening in your company? They say, no, we don't have that problem. We are a small company, they say. All right, I said, have you ever sent a Gmail instead of your corporate email to someone because it was more practical? Well, once or twice. There you go, I said. And here's the thing, that shadow IT also happens everywhere without us noticing it, and it happens for one single reason. Internal IT, so CIO and his team or her team, are not able to implement all the requirements from the employees, from the business, as fast, as instantly, and as elegant, and people would like to have. Therefore, they take a shortcut which is then dangerous for business. Now, there is one single product or solution that I would like to highlight, which I really believe is a breakthrough, and it's the HP Synergy. So you have the opportunity to see the solution and also to discuss details with our colleagues at the stand. Synergy, for me, has one critical capability, and this is to fluidly manage resources, applications, workloads, whatnot, between cloud and on-premises. Because, of course, it's realistic to expect that the world will remain in some kind of balance. And I also think that one more quality on top of that, it's fluid, is that you as a customer or you as a partner can allow your customer to take a journey. So with HP Synergy, you can start with one ratio between on-prem and cloud and then move as you go. But then again, every week, every moment, you can actually change that, you can modify it, and you can do one more thing. You might have seasonalities in your business which are also implementing the need for let's say, seasonal change of the balance. Now, HP Synergy really allows you to do that with the ultimate ease. On top of that, there is a lot of good things that we deliver and, let's say, announce to support on-prem, to support the cloud environment. But one more thing which I would like to highlight are recent acquisitions. So, as you have seen, we did acquire Aruba 2 years ago, so that was very successful, and we are already creating quite a lot of buzz in the market, and really it was, I would say, a breakthrough. But now we have SimpliVity. We have Nimble, and Nimble we're going to start selling November 1st, if I'm not mistaken. We have excellent partnership in data center networking with Arista, so later today you will see this DCN, so Arista presentations as well. And then point next, our services division. So here, among the traditional support, traditional services that we have been selling many years, there is a type of consumption model that we call flexible capacity services, and I invite you, it's pay-per-use model, and I invite you to listen to more details about that in room 3, 250, so 250 this afternoon. Our colleague Zulfia will have a session dedicated to flex capacity services. Now, what's cool with that is that it's partner inclusive, and we are, as we speak, already co-selling flexible capacity services with our partners in Russia. What's even more cool is that some of the first references that we got were actually not in enterprise, they were in SMB. So the story of the consumption model and pay as you go are actually working equally well in enterprise and in SMB. All right, and then everyone says, hey, we have a fantastic channel program and we really believe it, and I'm not going to say anything different than that. Now, with 15 years of my career spent running a partner company, so I did not work for the corporate all my life, I can tell you from my first-hand experience also partnering with Hewlett-Packard, but with other vendors as well, I can tell you what I find personally relevant for you as partners and what I believe are maybe some of the best elements of our programs. So first of all, channel-first mentality. I would say Meg Whitman was very, very clear since day one. She came on board and she said, what we do, any direction we go, it's gonna be channel first, it's gonna be focused on partners, because otherwise we cannot reach the market. Second thing is growth and profitability. Now, again, with my experience from partner life, I know it's so easy to put that on the slide. Now, making that happen for you is a different story. And I would say, if you look into the traditional business model, then of course margins are getting more and more difficult simply because it gets commoditized, so it has less and less value. But this is where our new acquisitions and services business also comes into place, because when it comes to complexity and your on-top engagement of technology, so what you add as a value on top of our technology, creates a very solid profit pool, sustainable one, and the one, I can tell you, that customer is not only willing, they are happy to pay for that, because I'm also a customer for different things, and when I feel a good service, I'm very pleased to pay that. And then finally, being a most profitable program, so we really listen to what you say, we take your feedbacks, we try to focus money to the partners as much as we can. We also try to make this profitability sustainable, again, so that you are not just being a shining star for 1 year, but that you can build your business upon that. So that brings us to 3 business models, which you, of course, easily recognize. And then there is a debate, do I take that journey, and how do I take that journey from traditional IT, or can we call it transactional, into value-driven outcomes, into solution-based business, and then finally, or as an add-on potentially, to consume business. Again, yeah, from my personal experience and perspective, that journey is easy to put on the slide, is difficult to execute. Many of you are starting the journey or considering to start the journey today. And the only advice I can give you is that the sooner you start, the sooner you will get to the place of the second and third business model. You don't need to completely transform your business. You don't need to completely lose the ground and everything, all the foundation, how you build your companies, your businesses, your added value to our clients. I would say you just need to be brave. You need to speak to us, and we define and develop a growth model, how you develop your competencies, how you become more comfortable, more confident, and more knowledgeable with more resources together with us to make that happen. And that's a little bit busy slide, but again, a few things that I believe are worthwhile to highlight. So the compensation needs to be predictable, needs to be rich, needs to be rewarding, needs to be fair. And I believe this is what we do for decades already, and we just evolve it, so we never change things dramatically. We simply add new and new and new profit pools. We add new and new things to consider. And then it's really up to you to take the journey and to see where you can fit and how you can actually make sure it works for you. One more comment here. Obviously, if we want to optimize the transactional business or traditional business, what we need to do is to perfect the end-to-end process so that your time and resource investment is minimal. That means that you spend less people, less resources on running transactional, and just make sure that you have maybe then surplus of resources and people to move into value business. So this is another thing that we want to do. Now, in value space, again, competencies is a new element of the program that we did launch. And by the way, we actually announced it in the Global Partner Summit in Las Vegas this summer. So your channel team and your PBMs, your distributors here in Russia, they will know all the details. We have a list of competencies where my goal, together with the Russian HP team, is that in the end we create a pool of partners with specific competencies that I would ideally like that we start co-selling more based on this added value and based on complementary skills that we can combine between partners, distributor, and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And here, I would say, in this value-driven outcomes section, it's also part of flexible capacity services as much as it is coming into this pay-per-use third column, so consume part of the business. Some of you would say, well, I'm not ready to be microservice provider because I don't know how to do it. But here, listening to what's going on, I would say my personal, I think, good advice would be maybe to start discussions with your distributors. So MERLION obviously is investing, having serious plans on consumption models. I would say you need to start discussions with your distributor. You need to say, hey, this is the business I'm doing today. This is what you as a big distributor are developing. Now, how do we bring my added value, my knowledge, my solution, my specific thing, how do we bring that to market through new path, through a new model of a consumption? So, let me summarize shortly. The strategy is simple, and most importantly for me, it's sustainable. It's not exclusive. It does not say one or the other. It handles fluidly the future that no one can realistically predict to the decision level to commit today, neither from the customer side nor from the partner side in one or the other way. Second, the portfolio is evolving. And I believe we are going to consolidate the portfolio a little bit. We're going to even make it a little bit simpler, which is excellent. At the same time, we will focus to deliver excellent products, really not too many, but tailored to what you need. And as you also see with the acquisition strategy, it's expanding, but in a controlled manner. And I can even tell you there was yesterday there was another acquisition, and I can promise you there's going to be more, and it's going to be really interesting. And then finally, the channel relationships. Yes, the partnership, again, needs to be lucrative for you, needs to make sense, but also you need to feel confident with us, and you need to feel like your invested dollar into our business is returning to you, and that we absolutely support you along the way. So, before we leave, I would just like to highlight a few things that you can see on Hewlett-Packard Enterprise stand. These are all the things that support Intelligent Edge, that support the hybrid IT story. And then, as I said, in room 3, 250, Zulfia will talk about flexibility services. So I encourage you to visit our stand, and I really thank you for your attention and for having us in this IT Summit. Thank you.